you find yourself in the middle of the pandemic, waking up, wanting to party, but no, you're not allowed to? If that is you, and you are British, then we have the solution. Join the British government. But before that, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. I am the gentleman, and this is the Gentlemen's Pixel Club, and that is my cat who has just walked by the camera. You can follow us on YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok on all the handles that you can see on the screen at the moment. So this is Pie-Eyed by Andrew Stagg, and this is a game from Automata back in 1983. So we've already mentioned that if you want to party as much as possible, join the British government. You know, go and work on the street that you see behind me, and that is a magical street where you can create laws, and those laws will only apply to those below you. Yourself, it doesn't matter, because a party isn't a party, it's a work event. And for those of you that wonder what I'm talking about, those of you that are not from the UK, just Google Boris work events and all your questions will be answered. That aside, let's get into this game. So I've hit a key to start, and I'm controlling Boris. Boris is on the screen at the moment. He is the pink guy with a little belly, and the object is to go to work events. And this game preempted the future. So Andrew Stagg, who wrote this game, he actually wrote this to enable people that are in our government to learn how to go to work events, which are really parties. So here we are at a work event for the government, and we've got all our politicians bouncing about on the bar at the bottom. And this is Boris. Boris has a bad memory. You know, he stands at the dispatch box. And for those of you that don't know what a dispatch box is, every week we have an opportunity for the leaders of our country, those that govern us, those that make the rules, to get together with the opposing party where questions can be asked, and it's called where the Prime Minister's questions time. And the Prime Minister, who is our leader, stands at the dispatch box and he answers truthfully questions. And our Prime Minister has a memory problem. He forgets that he was at parties, he forgets that he was at work events. And you know, this is poor Boris here that we see, you know, he's forgotten that he's at a work event here at the moment. And I think it's because he's sober when he's at the dispatch box. So the key to this game is we're going to get him as drunk as possible, so next time he goes to a dispatch box he will be able to tell the truth, because he would have had a few pints in him, and you know, the ability to, you know, not forget things will have clearly gone. That's reverse logic, but you know what, our Prime Minister is a very interesting character. So controlling Boris, he's got 9,990 points that you can see on the bottom right hand of the screen. And you could be thinking, gentlemen, you don't need to play this game. Well, actually I do, because the score is actually the score on the left hand side of the screen. I've scored 0, and to show you the damage that can be done, the blue thing by Boris's big nose is a bag of crisps. If I go over that, look at the score on the bottom right hand side, it drops. So when you go over crisps, you lose points. Where all the politicians are dancing at the bar, above them you've got this yellow splodge on the floor. I can only assume it is wee-wee or it's sick. Either way, not particularly good, but you go over that and you lose points as well. So Boris has got to get drunk, and Boris needs to refresh his memory by having a few drinks at this work gathering. So you push down and you get a drink there. So although my score's gone down a little bit, I've got a drink, so I've essentially scored 1 point, 2 points over a bit of wee-wee, 3 points, and so on. And this repeats on this game until you've basically got all the drinks. When I've got all the drinks, I can leave the bar by going to the exit here, and we're going to do this, and it's going to put us back in the road. And I want you to remember that this game came out in 1983, and I'm just pushing up there, and every time you go into a building you get a joke, you get some rubbish that comes up on the screen like this. That was, you know, humour from Automata back in 1983, and some of the jokes that you have here are representative of the humour of 1983. But this game absolutely predicted the future to help with work events, help MPs be able to guide themselves around and understand that a work event, a gathering, is actually getting pissed, and this is a training game for them. Controls are a little jagged, a little hard. So I pushed up to go into that pub there, and I missed. And although I'm pushing the same controls, the more drinks you have, the harder it gets. So I'm pushing up to go into the post place here, and the post is a post office here, and a post office is where we send our small parcels to arrive at other people's houses. There you get the 3 lines of joke that you have, and you'll get it everywhere that you go. So up and down just to control them a little bit. And I'm trying to get to the next pub, and I get clipped by a car. But the challenge here is the road. It's frustrating because all you do is you lose 10 points, and it's just a pain to get into any building. We've managed to get into this pub here, and we can carry on the journey. But here's the kicker. I've said he's hard to control. He's even harder to control in this work environment. So this work establishment we are now, I'm just going to move one character at a time. So left, left. And when I hit that guy, he's going to bounce about a fair bit. See him bounce all the way back there. It's because he's getting drunk. And this gets worse the further you play the game. So we're going to unfortunately have to go over some sick or wee, whatever it may be, to get that drink, get that one, try and hit a double there. And we've now got 10 pints inside of ourselves. But he is bouncing around just a little bit more. And you can't go through the small gaps. So I cannot go to the right now. You know, I cannot physically make it, so I've got to go up and around. And this is where this game gets challenging as you get further through the game. Because he bounces around so much when he hits things that you don't particularly want to hit. You land on the sick, you land on the crisps, or wherever it may be. So I just push up there to get into there. You lose points, you really do. So we've now gone into the video shop. And do you know what a video shop is? And I'm asking new viewers here, VHS or beta, long before, and I'm going to keep going into these because it resets the card every time you go into a building so I can get to the next pub. VHS beta, which was on the video shop, and that's called Betamax, is essentially an old way to view films. I want you to think of Netflix. Before Netflix, there was Blu-ray. There still is Blu-ray. Before Blu-ray, there was DVD. Before DVD, there was Laserdisc. Before Laserdisc, there was VHS and beta, and these were these large cassettes. And what you did is, in the UK, it's a very, very barren, desolate country. We don't have many good things going for it. And back in the day then, you had to take your small amount of change that you had, and you would go to one of these VHS shops, and with your money, you give a membership card, and they would rent you a film. And you would then take that film home, and it's in this big cassette. You would then put it in this player and watch it. For those of you that don't know, those cassettes got damaged, and if you had one which maybe had some spicy scenes in it, a little bit of nudity or something like that, you know, often you would find you'd put the cassette in and it would start at that particular point because people had been pausing it and rewinding it, pausing it and rewinding it for that section. But equally, back in the day, those cassettes got damaged, and if you watched a scene too much, you'd get this like white snow on the effects. So if you had any films that had any spicy bits, anything interesting in them for maybe young adolescent viewers, they would then look at these tapes and they would be very badly damaged in those areas. And often you would take a cassette from the video shop, get home and you think, yeah, I know what you people were watching last, and you would get the cassette in that state. But enough of that, you know, enough of that bit of history. We are Boris and we're drinking drinks. And did you see him bounce around as he clicked that piano? He really, really did. I've got 7,570 points left at the moment, and I want to try and beat my record on this game. And I think my record is about 41 pints, and that was a long, long time ago. But we're going to see whether we can do this. You can only leave the building once you've got all the pints. So if you haven't got all the pints, then you're stuck in there. Controls have got hard again. I've been clipped by a car. We've only lost 10 points, so that's okay. But I'm eager. I'm very, very eager to get to the next pub, and that is the Merry Corpse. And yes, we got in it. I thought that car was going to, but we got in there. So for those of you that have been following along, for those of you that are my subscribers, thank you very much. If you're not subscribed, you know, and you enjoy the content we do here, please do consider it. It helps the channel, it helps the algorithm, and it helps me grow the channel as well. And if you've watched the January message, one of the things I spoke about in there was when I get 1,000 subs, I am going to start doing live streams. But I also spoke that, you know, I don't want anything for making this channel. I don't, you know, have any support or anything, and it's all done. I clipped the table here and he bounced up. Did you see that? He bounced up, and you lose a lot of points when you bounce up. So yeah, I don't want anything for the work that's being done here. But one of the things I was going to invest in was a PC for streaming, a PC to do live streams. Today, I pulled the trigger on this, and I've invested in a reasonably expensive setup that's going to be doing the live streams when we have over 1,000 subs. And I want to have that many purely for the fact is I believe that with that number there will be, you know, a good body of people that will hopefully turn up and build a little community where we can do some watching, some playing together, where I will make a formal myself trying to play these games, because, you know, I'm the gentleman and I'm actually quite shit at a lot of games here, and I'll do my best to entertain you. But just wanted to share that, you know, I haven't told the missus that I've pulled the trigger on this yet, so, you know, she watches these videos as well. You know, she may watch this video by the time I get home from work tomorrow, and then I can share in my experience how I'm telling you, the viewers, first what I've done. You know, I might have a head wound, I might have a piece of my face missing, but who knows? You know, that's what I've done. So I truly believe it is better to ask for forgiveness than permission. And what I mean by this is, if you in your life are going to do something wrong, you know, much like Boris, you know, he should have said, yes, we had our work gatherings. Please forgive me. I forgot to ask for permission because all of you were following the rules and the rules don't apply to me. No, you know, he didn't even ask for forgiveness. But if there's something that you want to do and you may know it may upset people, consider this. They're going to be angry if you do it anyway. So don't ask for permission. Just ask for forgiveness if you're caught. I'm going to be caught buying this PC because it's going to turn up at the house. So, you know, I nearly name dropped her here. So, Mrs. Gentleman, I am sorry for what I have spent. Please forgive me. I'll buy you some shoes, I'll buy you some flowers, but please forgive me. Anyway, joking aside, actually not joking, she truly does not know about the PC yet. We have got 31 drinks. I want to get over 50 drinks to be my champion Boris. For some reason they called him Pie Man in the game. I'm sure that's a typo and they mean to say Boris. And I've got 16 drinks left to get. The problem is I have to walk over the Wii. There, I've got no choice. I've got to get the crisps. And, you know, I'm in a world where everything's going to do maximum danger to me. I don't want to do this, but I just need to show you. So I'm going to go here. And I'm going to touch this guy here. And I'm going to bounce around like a fool. And he doesn't do it. He doesn't do it. Typical. Alright, watch me in the next pub. I will bounce around like a fool. This isn't the pub. And the building we've gone in at the moment is actually Automata taking the piss out of themselves. So this is meant to be their office. And if you have a look here, you know, their office is like this huge bloody this castle you've got on the high street here. It even gives you the address. And I guarantee if you look that up on Google Maps right now, you are not going to see a building that's represented from the one that I have just left here. So into this pub. No, not into that pub. Down, up. No, can't go up yet. Can I get into that pub? Yes, we got into the pub. So Boris is doing well. He will drink all the beer. I think I had 36 pints in him. And let's see what we got now. Oh, this layout looks a bit challenging. Yes, he's got 36 pints. And he's going to slowly bounce his way with his big nose and his big belly around the floor. So maybe I cannot do too much damage if I go across here, down here, and get that one. You can only, and for some reason, the sick, the wee, whatever it may be, only moves when you hit it from a certain direction. Not quite figured out what it is, but it's a challenge. And I've got 2,500 points left and 8 drinks to go. I think we are going to beat my high score here. I think we are going to truly beat my high score. There is a place in this world called Twin Galaxies. And I wonder whether Twin Galaxies have a high score for this game. This is such a silly game, but I wonder whether it's actually on the Twin Galaxies high score database. So right, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, okay, so we need one more pub after this. So we're going to go down. Get that. I wish I could go left. I wish the gaps were big enough to go left, but they're not. We've got this guy over here. I'm not sure whether he's being sick down a toilet or playing a video game, and I can't get through that gap, and my score is deteriorating. Look at that, look at that. Every time I touch something, I bounce around like, you know, a man that's forgotten that he's at a work event. So grab that. This is going to be close. This is really going to be close. And by close, I mean I've got to get out of this work establishment, which turns out to be an event, and I've got to get into the next pub. So the whip it in, can you do this? And remember, we need to beat 50 pints. I'm happy when we beat 50 pints. That is the goal achieved of this video. This game is a silly game. This game is a game that was, and I find it a silly game because you know what? Automator made games, you know, for a different generation, but kids would have brought this game, and it shows, you know, the different world that we live in, and you know how the world has changed. And if you ever want a reflection, and it's a tainted reflection in terms of what it is, but you ever want a reflection of the UK back in the 70s, back in the 80s, there is two great TV series that you can watch that are sort of linked with each other, and it's Life on Mars and Ashes to Ashes. And I'm not going to spoil the premise of the series, but the scenery, the terminology, the way things were back then, you know, is representative of times of old in the UK. And those times of old, especially for Ashes to Ashes, would have been the time that this game was made. And what's interesting is not so much, you know, everything they say and the things they do, but the TV series itself has got some great video effects in terms of they've de-aged everything, and not de-aged it to make it younger, but de-aged it to take it back in time. The sets are great and everything is good. It is good in terms of what it represents. So if you want to flashback in time from a UK point of view, to when we had governments that didn't think work events were piss-ups and everything else like that, go and have a look on Life on Mars and Ashes to Ashes. And they got a great soundtrack as well, a brilliant soundtrack by David Bowie. So we're going to go down here, and I don't, but look at this, I drunk 54 points. The high score is 54 points, and I have achieved my goal. So Boris, as he runs around the screen now, actually remembering that he was at a work event and enjoyed himself, he is truly pie-eyed because he's drunk. This was a great game by Andrew Stagg that predicted the future to give a simulation for our current government on how they need to do what they need to do at work events, for want of a better word. And I hope you've enjoyed this silly sidetrack video, a little bit different from what I've done before, because I've had a little rant about the political world that we live in. And just to cap that off in a very, very serious nutshell, I find none of this funny what has happened in any shape or form. You know, we have got a government that does exactly what it wants and sod the rest of the world. So many sacrifices have been given by so many, yet these idiots in charge could do just what they want, lie to us, treat us like bloody morons, and you know, it is a crying shame. And you know, on a very, very serious note, to anybody that has suffered, and there are hundreds of thousands of people that have suffered through this pandemic, through one way or another, through rules that are given by others that don't follow the rules, I'm truly, truly sorry for you. You know, I'm making light of this when I do this video, because, you know, I am really, really fucking frustrated by the government that runs the United Kingdom. You know, they make the people look like idiots while they create the rules and they do what they want to do. I will probably never do a video that's got such a serious overtone as this again, but you know, it's a little frustrating, and I'm not going to lie to you, because you know, I tried to, you know, share what's on my mind. You know, it's been bothering me for a little while how these people on the street behind me behave, and there's nothing that I can do about it. There's nothing that you can do about it. There's nothing that anybody can do about it. But hey ho, it's the world that we live in. But anyway, misery aside, because government is our misery, you all stay safe. You take care. I'm the gentleman. This is the Gentlemen's Pixel Club. and please look after yourselves. Goodbye.
Would you like to play again?